Next up, I want to talk about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. My last segment about Baker Mayfield did actually really well, over 630 listeners and counting. And all the comments were like, hey, we love Baker, and we agree. The Browns shouldn't have moved on from him in the first place. So it's just great to see the support that he has. But I do want to talk about Tampa once again. They went into Ford Field and beat the Detroit Lions, and that is a rough crowd to play against, and they got it done, 20-16. I said the Saints are serious. I think the Bucs are serious this year too, and I would argue I trust the Bucs a little bit more because the Saints, we haven't seen this from them as much as we've seen it from the Bucs. We saw it in the playoff run for the Bucs last year. They decimated the Philadelphia Eagles in the first round, so I trust the Bucs a little bit more, but I think both these teams are going to be really, really good this year. And it's just a huge turnaround for that division, from being a laughingstock when I believe with Tom Brady's last year, the Bucs made the playoffs with a losing record, to now having three teams that I think could very well make the playoffs. But the Tampa Bay Bucs, I just want to focus on in particular. Mike Evans didn't even have that great a game. Baker Mayfield didn't live up to what he did last week, but they didn't need to because this team is so well-rounded. They've got a good defense. They've got great supporting cast on offense, great weapons. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Rachaad White's a very good receiving back, even if he's not a great rusher. And their rookie had some flashes. He's had some flashes of being a really solid runner. So the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I think, are just really good all around. And I'm not the biggest Todd Bowles fan. I think sometimes he doesn't make the best decisions. But if there's one thing he's a good defensive mind, so he's going to have that defense working overtime. And Antoine Winfield, he was out this game. But looking at the box score, you wouldn't notice it. 2016 against a potent passing attack with the Detroit Lions, and really a potent offense in general. And you really didn't miss Antoine Winfield that much. Obviously, he's going to impact the game, but you were still able to go into Detroit and beat the Lions, a top NFC team. The Buccaneers are legit. If you enjoyed this video, it would be great if you could find it in you to like, subscribe, maybe check out the full podcast on Spotify, follow us on there, follow us on Instagram. I know realistically this podcast isn't going to go anywhere ultimately, whether it's via the segments on YouTube or the entire podcast itself, but I want to get into the sports broadcasting business. I want to be able to promote thought-provoking discussions about the NBA, and I would love to do it via State of the Association. Thank you if you made it all the way through.